Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Strengthening Families webinar. My name is Amy Fatwafe, and I'm the Executive Director here at Native American Fatherhood and Families Association. I want to introduce our founder and president, Mr. Al Pooley, who will be presenting us today on this webinar. So thank you again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your participation in this webinar. I have prepared a PowerPoint that may help you sort this thing through. So again, my name is Albert Pooley. Just please feel free to call me Al. A little bit about who I am. I'm a marriage and family therapist by profession, and I started this program, Fatherhood Sacred program, back in 2001. And here's a little brief story of the program. We started in 2001 on the Salt River Indian Reservation with one father. That eventually grew to a few more fathers, and within a year or so, we had quite a few fathers going to the program. I was approached by one of the fathers and said, you know what, Mr. Pooley, I'm learning a lot from this program. I think it'd be very beneficial to have our wives learn what we are learning. So from that suggestion, I said, okay, let's go ahead and include the mothers. And that's how we started including motherhood as sacred. I think we're the only program in the entire country that talks about, that really elevates fatherhood and motherhood to a level of sacredness. And so, again, let's go on. The reason why we focused on the family, as we say here, the family is the heart of our Native American cultures. In all reality, it's the heart of all cultures. It's the family. Because of that, there is no other work you will ever do as a father or mother that's more important. That is, we need to really understand the importance of your role as a parent. Because some of our greatest happiness and greatest sorrows comes from the relationships we have with our family members. Our mission here to strengthen families is threefold. It's not only to strengthen families that are intact, but to keep families together. Sometimes families go through turbulent times and they go through the experience of getting divorced. If there's a divorce, and sometimes divorce is necessary, to keep things going and keep things smooth. And so if divorce is the correct answer, we can still keep families together. And so we really strive to do that. The other thing is that sometimes a lot of bridges have been burned because of unkind words or actions, and we have separated from our families because of various reasons. So one of the functions we have also is to try to reunite families together. A lot of our kids, for an example, have been in foster homes or have been adopted, and they have a real interest in learning more about their families. So we also take a special interest in reuniting families. So it's, again, to strengthen families, to keep families together, and to reunite families. Why is building and maintaining strong relationships important key to success? It is an important key to success in all of our lives. Our existence as humans and our happiness is dependent upon building and nurturing strong relationships. Like any structure, like any house, any structure, the foundation is vital to its strength and stability and success. Even a car, if it's going to be strong, it has to have a strong frame. Even a bicycle, that's the same thing with a family. And sometimes, unfortunately, people have not been raised in a situation where they observed or experienced a strong family. So they don't know how to be a father or a mother or even a husband or a wife because they've never really seen it, with a lot of violence and abuse in their lives. So you have to share with them and show them that there really is a way to have happy and safe and strong families. In working with our people, we have said this. A lot of programs point out that someone is sick, like in AA. They say, my name is so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic, which implies that they're sick. I have an illness. Or some people say, well, these people are broken. We don't say that. We say most people are not sick. There are some people who are sick. That's kind of category into mental illness. That's a different, we're not talking about that. But most people are not sick. Most people we teach is they have been hurt. And if you don't take care of that hurt, it quickly turns to anger. If you don't take care of that anger issues, then it turns to resentment. And that's resentment is like, leave me alone, get out of my face, stay out of my life. It escalates to that level. The next level it goes to is then, if you don't take care of that, it goes to hatred and revenge. We just make a comment. When you get to hatred and revenge, you're starting to hold hands with the devil. Very serious, very, very important to address that. There's one final stage, and that is evil. Evil to us implies you have a constant mindset. Your mindset is constant of how can I destroy you? How can I bring you down? Now, I always tell the people this, if I want to destroy someone, I don't destroy their car, their property. I don't destroy their career even. If I want to destroy somebody, I destroy their family. And that's really what is happening today. A lot of our families are being broken up. They're being scattered. They're being used and abused and neglected and abandoned, and even in some cases molested. So it really impacts three things that we work on people. We work with on their self-worth. They have to understand the true value of themselves, the true nature of their value. And so we work on self-worth. The reason why self-worth is so critical is because all major decisions you make in your life has a direct correlation back to your self-worth. Then we work on personal identity. What is your identity? Who are you? The other thing we work on is purpose, bringing purpose to your life. We will discuss these three things very briefly right now. Self-worth, understanding the true nature of our personal value, your worth, usefulness, productivity, and goodness. Everyone has a sense of individual worth, either if it's positive or negative. Now, what are some things that really determine your self-worth? There's a lot of variables, but one of them is this: how are we treated by others, particularly individuals significant in our lives, like family and friends and colleagues? How are we treated by them? That has a direct impact on our self-worth. If it's abusive, if it's things like that, or violence, it has a tremendous impact on us. And many times we have very little control over that. But the next one is very critical. We work on this. How do we respond to how we are treated? The key here is, how do we respond to how people treat us? If we keep responding the same way, you know what? They will keep treating us the same way. So we have a system here that we try to look at. Let's look at new ways and techniques of how to respond to how you are being treated. Because if you respond differently to how you are being treated, guess what? People will start treating you differently, particularly your loved ones. The next one is, how useful are you? Okay? And some people, particularly, how useful are you to your loved ones? Some people may be living in the same house with their family, but they're not very useful. Today, unfortunately, a lot of people spend time searching the web. They're playing with their telephones. They don't talk or interact with each other. They don't do nothing, but they're in the same house. If that's the case, you don't really get to know your own family members, and they're not very useful. The more useful you are, if you produce to the welfare of your family, you know what? People want you around. They need you around because you're productive. And so those three factors are critical in strengthening someone's self-worth. And we have total control over that. Some people don't need to be coached and guided and mentored on strengthening their self-worth. The other thing we'll talk about now briefly is on personal identity. These are the concepts. The key word here is belief. What do we have about ourselves over the course of our lifetime, such as your race, your gender, your body image. Are you short? Are you tall? Are you thin? Are you heavy? There's a lot of things that create your personal identity. But the main thing is that I look at this is what do we believe? Not what we think, but what do we really believe? Because once you believe something, we have internalized it. It becomes part of who we are. And so we look at a number of factors here. Self-respect. In our program, we say, if you really respect yourself, you allow yourself to make your own choice, to determine your own choices. That is self-respect. If you respect other people, you allow them to make their own choices. Now, because why? Because choice is one of your greatest personal possessions. In this program, we teach that your greatest personal possession is your life. Protect your life. The second greatest possession you have is your right to choose. Because if you're not given the right to choose, guess what? There's a lot of negative things that will happen. You'll begin to lose confidence in yourself. You begin to be led, guided, and directed in directions that maybe you didn't intend to go in. You become controlled by others. You become a victim of other people's wants and needs for you. So we say, value your choice. That has a direct correlation with your identity. In my program, in my staff here, I have a number of people working with me. We have some people who are non-members, who are not Native Americans, and they may be from other races. I tell people, don't ever apologize for your race. You had no say-so in the color of your skin, of your nationality, of your heritage. You be proud of that. Unfortunately, today, people are using race as a very negative thing that I think it's really unfortunate that people use race to separate other people or to elevate themselves up. It's more harmful today than ever before. Now, I tell the people, if you're not Native American, I want you to be good in working with people. If let's say you're from Ireland or you're from Africa, be proud of where you came from because your forefathers sacrificed and suffered for their posterity, which is us, to be successful. We should be grateful that we're Native American, not to elevate ourselves above anybody else, but grateful for the heritage that we bring. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. But personal identity is strengthening your character and integrity, okay, because that's what makes us unique. Getting to purpose now. We want you to have a purpose-driven life. Your life must be driven by purpose. If you don't have a purpose-driven life, people do this. They just chill, as you've heard, or they just hang, or they just kick. They don't do much. In other words, they just waste their life away. Once you bring purpose to your life, you get from point A to point B much, much quicker. So we want to have a purpose-driven life. Now, how we do that is this way, is that we start with, one of the things is that we want to, we tell people, we want you to be a forward-thinking person. In other words, what that means is that we have to put good things into our mind that will motivate us and inspire us to do good. I tell people, the hardest thing you will ever do in your life, though, it sounds simple, but it's hard, is to control the way you think. That's the hardest thing you're ever going to do because people think it's so private and personal. People will never know what I'm thinking. But thinking actually comes out later on in habits, in behavior, in lifestyles. So how you think determines really what you become. So putting good things into your mind that motivate you and inspire you will have great outcomes. You've heard the phrase falling off the wagon. If you're in the field of addiction, why do people fall off the wagon? From my point of view, the biggest reason why people fall off the wagon is because they haven't changed the way they think. They think the same way. So we try to introduce to the people the importance of becoming a forward-thinking person. The next thing is becoming a forward-looking person. And this is seeing past our problems and imperfections and recognizing our value and our own potential. Looking at our value and potential. And this is more difficult than people realize, because sometimes people are shackled. They shackle themselves to their past, and their past holds them down because of various factors like shame or guilt or sorrow or regret. These are the things that can really hold people back. And in many instances, they or we become our own worst enemy because we are shackled to our past. Now, forward moving, letting go of experiences and bad memories that hold us down and back. And so I usually give this little example. I say, let's pretend a lot of people pray for a miracle to happen. They pray for life to change for them. And I say, you know what? Miracles do happen, but quit praying for miracles. You know why? Because in all reality, you are the miracle. Because there has never been a person exactly like you ever, and there will never be a person like you ever again. You are unique. You are one of a kind. You are priceless. You are even precious, which makes you the miracle. Now I said, just play along with me now. Imagine that there's a magical key to your heart. There's a special key to your heart. I can help you find that key, but I can't turn it. Once you find it, you can start turning it. Sometimes turning it comes slow. But when you turn that key, you can take that key out of your heart and you can start to unshackle yourself from your past, because you have to do it. A therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, parents can't do that. That is something you have to do personally, but you may need guidance and direction and support and encouragement to do that, but it is very possible. That's called healing. There's a process in healing. Healing is a process. It's not a thing. It's a process that may take several weeks, several months, or maybe even several years, but it can be done. It happens through work and effort. You can't dream about it. We can't hope about it. We have to actually do it. And there's a process. Now, the outcomes of healing are great, because some of the benefits of healing is called, you come out with a clear mind and you come out with a clear conscience. In essence, you have transformed yourself to another person. You may have the same look, the same person, but you have transformed yourself from the old you to a new you, because you come out with a clear mind and a clear conscience. And again, there's a process to that. We would love to be able to show you and share with you what that process is. Why do we talk about purpose again? Because purpose, remember, purpose gives direction to us. It gives us guidance. It also creates discipline. We have more discipline and structure in our lives. We do it to ourselves. Purpose motivates us to improve, for self-improvement. Purpose brings greater meaning to our life. So we have meaning in our life. We have a meaning, we have a reason to live, okay? The other thing is that it helps develop self-worth and self-esteem. But I want to make clear, self-worth and self-esteem work hand in hand, but they're two separate concepts. Self-esteem relates more to your level of confidence. Now, we don't always have a lot of confidence. For an example, if somebody asks me to sing the Star Spangled Banner at an event, I may not feel confident and my self-esteem may drop, but my self-worth should still be consistent. So a lot of people use it interchangeably, but they're two separate concepts, okay? Now, okay, unfortunately, we say that a lot of programs have focused on helping and working with mothers. So we make the statement, typically programs for families in Native American communities, all over, matter of fact, focus primarily on the needs of women and children, with little attention given to the unique needs of men as they struggle to become valuable family participants. We here at NAFFA, we take the position that Native American men are often viewed as the cause of many of the family or social problems in our communities. But we take a firm position on this, that fathers, really, they're the solutions to addressing the problems in our communities. It is us workers that need to learn how to engage these men so they can become valuable participants. The greatest untapped resource available in our communities are actually the fathers. The next one here is fathers must take the lead in keeping families together. It is not the job of the courts or the jobs of the ministers or the religions or the jobs of social services. It is the jobs of the fathers to take the lead in keeping their families together. And that's our position here at NAFFA. We've always stood by that, and we're going to stand by that because we really see that fathers are really the greatest untapped resources in our communities. Now we're going to talk about change. How is change achieved? Before I do that, let me give you an example that I work with our fathers on and mothers to kind of summarize self-worth, identity, and purpose. I may call a person up in the front of the stage and I would say to them, where are you from? And he may say, well, I'm from North Dakota. That's wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question. I say, where are you really from? And they'll say, well, I was born on maybe in White Shield, North Dakota. Okay, you were born there in North Dakota, but let me tell you where you come from, and you can disagree with me if you want. This is where you really come from. You come from a great heritage. You come from a great people. You come from a great culture. You come from a great history. Am I right? They always agree with me because they know I'm telling the truth. They come from greatness, I tell them. That is exactly where you come from. You need to understand, now we're working on their self-worth, we're also working with their identity. They come from greatness. Now, if you come from greatness, it is your job, it is your challenge in your life to return back to where you come from. And that is greatness. You come from greatness, so you got to be returned to where you come from. But there's some things that precede greatness. One of them is goodness. I want you to become a good man. I want you to become a decent person. In other words, a decent person is polite. They are kind. They are different things. They can listen to both sides of the story. You're decent. Good, decent, honorable. You're honest in your dealings with your family and your fellow man. You're honest. And you're courageous. You have courage. Where does courage come from? It comes from goodness, believe it or not. So I want you, now, those things come before, those things make you great, okay? Now, so you come from greatness. And I ask them now, what's your mother's name? And they may tell me, well, my mother's name was Mary, okay? Your mother, I want you to understand, your mother carried you in her body for 9 months of discomfort. You were kicking, pushing, moving, very uncomfortable. For 9 months she carried, whether she was a good mom or bad mom, she carried you for 9 months. Then she had to endure hours of labor, of hard labor pain to bring you into this world. Okay, now, when your mother was carrying you in her body, before she even knew you were a male or a female, she probably said to you on many occasions, I want you to be successful. I want you to succeed in life. Your mother never said, I hope you become a loser or a failure or a drunk or a drug addict. She never said that. She intended for you to be successful. Now, it doesn't stop at your mother, though. Your forefathers suffered and sacrificed for so much for their posterity, which is you, to know success, to be happy, to be well. So you are destined to be successful. In other words, look at yourself as you are a child of promise. You were promised so many things to be successful, but you have to work at it. You have to put effort to being successful. That's part of who you are. Now I'm going to ask my third question. The third question is this: have you ever made a mistake in your life? The answer is always yes. We've all made mistakes. Some have made more mistakes than others. But I say, I want to tell you something. I want you to understand. This is the truth now. You are worth more than the worst mistake you have ever made in your life, and that is the truth. Sometimes I have them repeat that for me. You are worth more than the worst mistake you've ever made in your life, and that is the truth. Okay? Then so many times they have a difficult time accepting that, but they do accept it as the fact that yes, they are worth more than the worst mistake they've ever made in their life. Okay? A third thing we make about it is this: since you are destined to succeed, you are here to be successful. Okay? But there's three things you need to understand to be successful. Three things. Number one, you have to understand the importance of keeping your promises. That's critical. You know how you feel when people break promises to you. So you got to understand the importance of keeping your promises. Number two, you got to understand the importance of keeping rules. To be your friend, to be anybody's friends, you have rules. You can't lie to them. You can't steal. You can't cheat. You can't hit. You can't abuse. If you do things like that, you're going to possibly lose their friendship and lose their love. Okay? So you have to understand the importance of keeping rules. Number three, of keeping laws. Even the universe has laws. The laws of chemistry, the laws of physics, the laws of mathematics. Those are laws that are consistent. Okay? Now we have laws of nature. Okay? We have laws on our homeland. We have laws that we have to abide by. Even laws of the road, the laws of the highway. Okay? We have laws. So you got to keep laws in mind. So understand something. When you do three things, you keep promises, you keep rules, and you keep laws. Guess what has happened? You have earned, you are entitled to one of life's greatest blessings and gifts. That is called freedom. You're free. Okay? You're free to do so many things. Now that's one of the things, but we have to earn that freedom. It's not given to us. And since you're a child of promise, you can do it. We all can do it. So that's kind of give you that. So that is how real change is achieved. You have to back this. I mentioned to people that change doesn't come from knowledge. Knowledge is good, okay? But you have to make people feel. They got to feel important. They got to feel special. That's how people fall in love. You know, you got to make people feel. Knowledge doesn't do that. Another example on that is this. You may give somebody your resume. They may know all about you, read about you. They may be impressed from your resume, but that's not enough to fall in love. Okay? You have to make them feel. Now, let's say you give them your resume, you give them letters of references. That's not enough either. You may give them your resume letters of references, and you may give them pictures of yourself. They may be excited and turned on, but that's still not enough. They may be impressed. You have to make them feel. You got to make them feel welcome, wanted, needed, and special in your life. Now you have their attention. So in other words, you have to make people feel. Now, we say your change comes by filling life with hope, gratitude, and understanding. What I mean by that, I like to give an example. Let's say you have a parent. Their child is going down the wrong path. They're drinking, they're drugging, they're quitting school, they're getting into trouble. And a mother may say this: my son isn't listening to me, my daughter's not listening to me. They come to me with a broken heart. The first thing they're probably they will say is, what did I do wrong? what did I do wrong? What was my mistake? I reassured them that maybe they didn't do anything wrong, because people have the choice to make their own decisions. But so what I do with that mother or father, I do this. I do everything I can to strengthen their hope, to give them, to bring them new hope, and to strengthen the hope they have already in them. Because when the child comes back, maybe they come back after a year or two, they've burned so many bridges, they come back penniless, friendless, houseless. All they have is just a little bit of hope. I hope mom will let me in. I hope mom will understand. I hope. If mother has no hope, she will start yelling, blaming, accusing, condemning this person. But if mother has hope or father has hope, they will welcome them back into their lives and work with them. So hope is critical. But understand one thing. If mom does not have hope, she can't give it. You can't give something if you don't have it. You can't give something if you don't have it. The next thing I try to do is work with people on their gratitude. When you're really grateful, things happen to you. Have you ever worked with someone that's just bitter, that's always contentious, okay? That's very defensive, but they're just bitter, complain, blame, criticize? The people that do these things, many times, they lack gratitude. They think somebody or something owes them something. They're entitled to something. I'm sorry, life was never meant to be easy, fair, or comfortable. We have to make it that way. And one of the best ways to do it is to be grateful. We say in our program, a grateful person is smart. If you're grateful, you're just flat out smart. Gratitude is powerful. That's real Native American medicine. Really it is. Gratitude. So your gratitude, if you work with people who are cold, who are just complaining all the time, who are just bitter, you can predict that they're not very grateful. The other thing is understanding. You want that mother and father to understand. Now, understanding doesn't mean you agree with somebody. It doesn't mean you condone that behavior. You understand. Because when you understand, you don't judge, you don't condemn, you have more patience, you have more tolerance, and the list goes on and on. Why? Because you understand. Understanding is powerful, powerful. It's much greater than knowledge. So again, understanding. It's just like people talk about empathy. You really feel what other people have, what they're going through. But what's even greater than empathy is called compassion. What compassion is that, yes, you feel the pain and sorrow and the grief of other people, but compassion is different, because compassion gives you the desire to help, not just feel bad and sorry, but compassion motivates you to actually get in there and help and do something and to help them with people that are going through these problems. A lot of people don't understand that. Compassion motivates you, gives you the desire to help, not just feel it, but to do something about it. In our efforts to help others and assist people, often we move away from two important necessary elements. Now, we teach this in our programs. Now, I've taught at 3 universities in the past, and the last one I taught at was a graduate school of social work here at ASU in Tempe, Arizona. And in every academic institution I've taught at, they talk about keeping a distance, pretty much client distance. And there's some wisdom in that, yes. But here we say this in our program: if you really want to help people, I want you to be good in helping all people. Now, these are the characteristics that make you good. It is not your education. It is not your culture. It is not your race. It is not your looks, your gender. It is this: you must truly love the people whom you serve. That is critical. And the example I give is that, let's say you had a pet dog that you just loved. The whole family loved this pet dog, and they got hit by a car and it was injured pretty bad. You had to take this animal, your pet animal, to a veterinarian. Would you take it to a veterinarian that didn't like animals, that didn't love animals? You wouldn't even think about it. You take it to a veterinarian that truly loved animals. The same way here. Sometimes people hire people just because they have a degree. That's not enough, people. You got to hire people that truly love the people whom they serve. What I mean by love is this: you are honestly and sincerely concerned for someone's general welfare and their own personal better welfare. That's what I mean by love. Okay, and you have compassion to that, you will do something about it. Number two, you must love what you bring to the people you serve. That's what makes a good mother and a good father. They love being a mother, they love being a father, and kids can feel this. So again, your clients can feel it too. So number one and two: number one, truly love the people you serve. Number two, love what you do, love what you bring to the people whom you serve. Now, precisely this is what you do. This is our method. After you, the first two. The first thing you do is this: you uplift people. You uplift their spirits, their attitude, their self-image, their self-worth. When you do this, you make them feel welcome, wanted, needed, and you make them feel special. You now have their attention. Now, but one of the best ways to do it, when somebody walks in your office, like the receptionist sitting out front, he or she must know how to do one thing. They must know how to smile and welcome people. If they can't do that, send them to some kind of program where they can learn how to smile and welcome people. Because people are coming in to see us who have problems and have issues. They want to know that again, they come with a little bit of hope. I hope they will understand. I hope. You have to make them feel welcome. And that's by uplifting them. The next thing we do is this: we encourage. What I mean by encourage, you strengthen them. You bring them new hope. You strengthen the hope they come in with, and you strengthen the hope they have, and you bring them new hope. You inspire a desire for them to change, okay? And by doing this, you develop confidence and trust in yourself and others. The next thing we do is that we assist people, helping them recognize opportunities, identifying resources, and improving their skills. But this is the big one. You help them understand the importance of solving their own problems. Why? Because all life is, every day of your life, every hour of your life, we're going to have to solve our problems. The key is this: the moment we stop solving our problems is the moment we now become the problem. Because now we're not solving our problems. Somebody's going to have to step in and help us solve our problems. Now, when you learn to solve your own problems, guess what happens? You are now becoming responsible. That's a sign of maturity. You're solving your problems because you are responsible. And people love people who are responsible. Okay? Now, so that's what we mean by solving your problems. People that don't solve their problems, that's why they got to go. That's why we have jails and judges and prisons, because people are not solving their own problems. That's why our divorce rates are going out of the roof, because people are refusing to solve their own problems. We like to blame everybody for our own problems, complain and whine and criticize. And some of our communities are filled with that. Now, the last thing is teaching. Once you love the people, they know you love them. You love what you do, love what you bring to them. You've uplifted them, you've encouraged them, you've assisted them. Guess what? You have earned their trust and confidence. Now they're all ears. You can teach them. They want to be taught. Now you can become a mentor. You can become a teacher, and you can teach them things that they haven't ever maybe learned before. Let me give you an example. There's some people that we go to a lot of prisons and a lot of jails, and there's some men and women there that are good people. They just made some wrong choices. But you know what? You tell them we tell them we want you to be a good father. A lot of them they don't know what it is to be a good father. They've never seen it. They've only seen it maybe in movies, but to live it, to experience it, it's foreign to them. So they've been told things that are wrong. So again, you may have to show them and guide them on how to be a good father, a good husband, a good mother, a good wife. Excuse me. Pause for a minute. Now let's move on to the next slide, okay? Sacredness is a deep traditional value of Native people. Native people understand the sanctity of certain things. Okay.
Wait, wait, wait.
Okay, now the next slide here is on sacredness. Sacredness is a deep traditional value of Native people. NAFFA teaches this, and I think we're the only one that teaches this in the country as far as I know, that fatherhood is sacred, motherhood is sacred. Now, Native people look at a lot of things to be sacred, like certain mountains and rivers and canyons, burial grounds to be sacred, and they are indeed sacred. Even some animals like buffaloes and eagles, yes, they are sacred. But I tell the people this, you know what? We understand sanctity, sacredness, but we have missed the mark because we have failed to teach our people an old traditional thing that really has come back for years. That was way back a long time ago. We got to bring that back. That the two of the most sacred things on this earth is fatherhood and motherhood. Your role as a father and mother are more sacred than any mountain, than any canyon, than any burial ground, than any animal. It is sacred. And unfortunately, there are some parents that take better care of their dancing regators than they do their own children, their own families, because they have failed to understand that they have been taught that their role as a father and mother are indeed sacred. Okay. Now, one thing about a father and mother, though, we take it to another level. The Native people believe that after every tribe I've worked with, over 400 tribes throughout my professional career, every tribe believes in life after death, that our spirits continue to live after we die. You may have a profession, you may be a school teacher or a principal or a police officer or a judge or whatever, a doctor, and your profession may last, your career may last for 20, 30, even 40 years. And then you retire, that's it. Let me tell you something about your role as a father and mother. Even after you die, you're still going to be someone's father and mother. When you die, you're going to look for your father and mother. So fatherhood and motherhood is an honorable and noble profession. It is, because you're going to be a father for a long, long time. It's an honor and a noble profession to be a parent, father and mother. Parents need to understand and know the value of their critical role as fathers and mothers. You must be loving, caring, and nurturing. We don't have time to go over nurturing, but nurturing is a balance of love and discipline. Character is keeping your promises through your actions. Our actions and words determine our character. True character allows us to value and protect things that are important in life. Broken promises bring broken hearts, broken friendships, and broken homes. Character is critical to our happiness. Promises. Integrity. Integrity is being consistent, being honest, dependable, faithful, even predictable. Our integrity determines what we really are, not who we say we are or pretend to be. There are a lot of people that pretend to be something that they're not. They're called hypocrites. And kids can see and detect hypocrisy as easy as eating candy. They really can. We show our integrity by how we care for and serve others. If you serve somebody and you don't, if let's say somebody serves you and they're mad or they don't like it, you say, hey, don't even serve me then. You can see when people really want to serve you. People love and have confidence in those with integrity. You are easily loved when you have integrity because they can depend on you. NAFFA lays a foundation of healing through 3 curriculums. One of them is called Fatherhood is Sacred, Linking Generations by Strengthening Relationships and Addressing Family Violence. These are 3 curriculums. We were working on another curriculum called Suicide Prevention. It's not ready yet, but that's what we're working on. Fatherhood is Sacred. This gives you a brief summary of what this is. It's 12 sessions, which assist in its rebuilding. It's a foundational course of the lives of fathers and mothers to the knowledge of their inherent goodness and restoring hope, self-worth, and purpose to each individual. We say this, the purpose of life, we want to all have the same purpose of life, and that is to have a happy and safe family. Not just to have a family, anybody can have a family. We want our families to be truly happy and safe. We talk about the importance of order versus chaos. We learn principles, we teach principles in our program. We don't teach values because values can change. Principles are unchangeable. They're consistent, they never change. We talk about the creator, we talk about choice, teachable, wisdom, and service. Now, this may imply we talk about religion. We don't talk about any religion, not even Native American practices, because that is the sole responsibility of father and mother, not a program. But we do talk about the creator because every tribe also traditionally believes in the creator. Linking generations, strengthen relationship. We get into this program to strengthen relationships. We talk a lot about, we get more into self-worth, love and intimacy, communication, the importance of communication, and also of interaction, self-control, thoughts, attitude. Attitude is critical because you know what, the most powerful weapon you have in your arsenal, personal arsenal, is your attitude. Your attitude is so powerful, it can push people away or it can bring them into your life. We spend a lot of time on that. Participants are given tools and methods which are major areas essential to improving a relationship. Okay. We also talk about things that can impact or harm a relationship. One of them, for example, is selfishness. People, as a marriage counselor, many times people think the biggest reason for divorce is like infidelity or communication or finance or in-laws. Those are excuses. From my point of view, from my experience, the biggest reason for divorce is selfishness. If you're married to a person that's selfish, you are going to have problems. If you have two people that are selfish, you're going to have a lot of problems. The second biggest reason for divorce, believe it or not, is emotional immaturity. Some people may be intellectually mature. They can be doctors, lawyers, engineers, whatever. They can be very professional. Intellectually, they're mature. Physically, they're mature. They can be football players, rodeo riders. They can have babies, make babies. Physically, they're mature, but emotionally in their heart, they're immature. They blame, they complain, they criticize, they whine, they're jealous, and the list goes on and on and on. If you're married to a person that's emotionally immature, you're going to have problems. The next one we talk about is laziness. Now, a lazy person tends to do a number of things. They tend to rationalize their life away. They may say, well, I don't drink, but they're as lazy as heck. They don't understand the stress and the pressure that causes when somebody is lazy. They don't produce to the welfare of the family. A lazy person does think they waste a lot of time in dreaming, pretending, and idolizing someone that's not even, they like to daydream a lot. Another thing about a lazy person, they become boring after a while. Okay, so if you're married to a person that's selfish, emotionally mature, and lazy, you are going to have problems. Hopefully, you don't do that. But if we're all, now we all have a little bit of this in us. No one's perfect. But if you have someone that are extremely lazy, selfish, and immature, you'll have problems. Addressing family violence. We kind of cutting short on time. So we talk about domestic violence or family abuse. We talk about this as we say it's true identity theft. Somebody is stealing away your identity. So that's how we address family violence and abuse. Okay, and we talk about in this program, we talk about the stages of abuse. The first level we talk about is hurt. Most people are not sick, as we said. They've been hurt, and they've been hurt by loved ones. If you don't take care of that hurt, it escalates to anger. And some people have a lot of anger issues because they've been hurt. If you don't take care of that anger, it turns to resentment. Stay out of my face, leave me alone, I'm out of here kind of attitude. Okay. The next level we talk about then is called hatred and revenge. When you get to that level, we say, you're starting to hold hands with the devil. Be cautious, be careful. There's one final stage, and that is evil. When you're evil, there's a constant mindset of, how can I destroy you? How can I bring you down? And sometimes we disguise it with smiles and friendships. But many times they want to destroy you. So remember, we tell people this, you've heard this before, All monsters are not ugly. A lot of them are handsome and beautiful, but they're out to destroy you. Be cautious. So we have three, we talk about the different levels of domestic violence. We talk about how rebellion works. There's different stages of rebellion. One is called simple rebellion, one's called willful rebellion, and the other one is called open rebellion. They all have different tags on those things. They have different meanings, they have different outcomes. We have found that when individuals truly understand their role as fathers and mothers to be sacred, these are some of the outcomes. They become easier to work with. They are more devoted to their children and to each other. They have a deeper desire they're more self-motivated to improve and change their lives. They start to be involved in the lives of their families and community, okay? They develop a stronger commitment to being a blessing to their family, not a burden. Some of the things our participants have experienced that have come from our program. They become reunited with their families. They've reestablished legal custody or guardianship of their children. They seek training and educational opportunities. Some of them are going to college now. They're getting a good education, or they have good jobs, obtaining stable employment, and decreased recidivism. This is really happening. We've seen a lot of that. People don't repeat and go back into the system again, the legal system again. These are some of the outcomes we've seen from our program. Now, in addition to the fact that our training of those three courses, we have a lot of workshops we can provide, such as suicide prevention, healing from trauma, addictions in families, and the list goes on. Here's a list of things that we can talk about, but we don't have time to get into those things. But we have a lot of workshops we can offer, and we can tailor it to your specifications. We can do that. Now, our programs are in a number of areas. We're in criminal justice, we're in courts, we're in probation and parole, law enforcement, even reentry, education, we're in Head Start, Boys and Girls Clubs, junior high schools and high schools. It's being taught in some high schools. It's even being taught in some colleges, some of the community colleges. Health and human services, social services, parenting classes, TANF, and behavioral health. So we're taught in a number of programs throughout the community agencies. This is our contact information. If you have if you're interested to get more involved, learn more about what we do, we'd be delighted to talk to you and work with you on this, but here's our contacts. And again, my name is Al Pooley. The director of this program is called Amy Fatawafi, and the person in charge of training is called Elvira, and so that's who we are. So Elvira James, I'm sorry. So thank you very much, and look forward to meeting with you and talking with you.